All right, what's up? Happy Monday. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello. First time doing the podcast with my short hair.
Oh, yeah, nice. Got a haircut.
Sure did.
So today we're going to talk, I think, a little bit about a couple random things. And then I think we want to touch on like hospitality and stuff like that. We had some experiences over the past weekend.
Yeah.
And I guess just update of what's going on, which is what we typically do. So
Yeah.
still annoyed by this desk situation. That sounds better. But here we are. So why don't we start with opening takes? And I can start if you want because it will kind of lead into what we're talking about.
Okay.
So my opening take is to roll with the punches. So there's always going to be things that come up. Right now we have someone at our house doing some work for us, which is amazing. I feel like we've been renovating our home. It feels like a completely different space.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're finishing with sort of a downstairs area in our kitchen and the ceilings. And I feel like it's awesome. It's so cool to have everything like refreshed, new floors, new paint, new ideas, new furniture, new things like. And so I feel very fortunate to be able to have that stuff and experience the space. But obviously, when there's work being done at your house, this is much less disruptive. But we had floors done, so we had to move everything and whatever. And it feels like we've been working on this project for like a year, but it's probably been 6 months.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer than that with
Yeah.
planning or just messing around with ideas. But either way, when you have that sort of disruption going on, you got to just deal with it, right? What are you going to do? Not have new floors you want because you have to move some furniture around? Or we had to sleep downstairs with 5 of us
Forgot about that.
on a sofa and a pull-out. No, we didn't even have a pull-out at that time.
Nope.
So, yeah, there was a lot of mattresses just thrown on floors and things like that. And over the last weekend, we were in Long Island for a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened on the way down?
The dryer wouldn't work.
Our dryer wouldn't work.
The dryer at the salon wouldn't dry the towels. And I had a guy come out in the morning, and then we needed a company come out in the afternoon.
So there was dealing with that. So I was driving on the way down. So Jen was dealing with that and, organizing somebody to come out. And you brought all the laundry home. We did it here, folded everything so that our staff would be good to go for the morning. And it is what it is. You just roll with the punches and you try not to stress. So the big stress was what happens if we don't have a dryer? What do we do then? Which we would have just figured out because that's what we do. But again, roll with the punches. On the way, we'll talk about the hospitality and stuff in the middle of our trip when we get there. But on the way home, we get a message that they didn't know the power was out in the building or in our unit or whatever it was. Apparently a transformer had exploded. There was a power outage when it came back on, or they went to fire it back up, or whatever you do with transformers. That bitch exploded and
Our unit had no power.
Our unit was just out. So it is what it is. You roll with the punches. That's being taken care of now. There's a transformer that's ordered or being ordered, probably as we're recording this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a generator headed to the salon that will run us for as long as we need. And we're all set. Roll with it. So that's my opening take. Roll with the punches.
I like it. There's always a lot to roll with. And it always happens when you have a trip. Like, we're not there. Like, it's just, yeah, we handled it. We dealt with it.
Typically, it's one thing. It's like on the way. So you're like, great, I hope this doesn't ruin my trip. Not ruin it. Because you have to be able to separate things too. You can't just have like business on your mind 24 hours a day. Right. That's not healthy. So we're pretty good at separating things and not letting things ruin your day, but it can be stressful because we're responsible for our staff. That's what I tell them. That's how I feel about it. I look at them as our clients and I look at hair clients as hair client. Well, we obviously both do hair also, but you know what I mean? So for owners out there, that's a big deal. Like, look at your staff as your clients. Treat them as clients. That's the secret sauce if you want to.
Yeah, we take care of them to
people around. And we're a commission salon. We expect a lot and we're constantly pushing them. We're going to push them even harder this year. But for that, they get our respect, they get our mentorship if needed, they get our support and whatever they need to do, and they get the flexibility that we're willing to provide. But we are responsible with providing them a space. Like, how long would they really go if there was no power, or if there was no
Right.
solution, or if you were just like, I don't know, threw your hands up in the air, which I've seen a lot of people do that are business owners. They just bury their head in the sand and expect things will just get better. That's not a way to keep people feeling.
Right.
What do you got? Do you got an opening take?
I do. So my opening take is to be present, and this is something I struggle with. I think my whole entire life, probably, but more aware of it as an adult. So we were in Long Island this weekend for a wedding for my cousin, and this is a big side of my family. It's my mom's side, so all my aunts, my uncle, all my cousins, all their kids, us, our kids, my sister. Anyway, the whole day of a
People
wedding for
flying in from everywhere.
yeah. This I mean it was a big wedding, so there's so much out of your control when you go to a wedding, right? So we're supposed to be picked up. The shuttle doesn't grab us. So we're having to do this, do that. I get to the wedding and I'm at a high level of just like, this day did not go as planned. But, we're with our family. All of us are dressed up. Like, it's just, there was a moment where I'm getting with this at the wedding. I looked around. All of our kids are playing with my cousin's kids. They're just running around being kids. They don't need us to monitor them. Everyone's taking care of everybody and having so much fun. And there was so much love in this room that I just like said to myself, Jen, holy crap. Like, look around the room. Like, this is such a blessing. Like, this is so amazing that we can all come together, that we've all made time over the years to stay connected, that this wedding isn't just like, oh, some cousin of mom's that we've never met. Like, the kids were so excited to be there with playing with their, I think it's called their cousins first removed, whatever they fall in the family tree. And for me to be with my cousins and we're dancing and laughing, and then with my mom there. And, at one point Oliver fell asleep on my lap and we're just going with it. But it was the like being present that like, I don't know, just so cool to have family and you're actually like look forward to being together. So I think there's a lot of times in anything in life, you can look at all of the stressful things that are happening or what's not going well. But sometimes it's like, just take a minute and find like the blessing within that and be present in that moment and really enjoy it. Like, I had to literally like snapshot that and like, this is just such a special memory that's going to be for all of us forever, and just enjoy the time. So be present more often.
Definitely a lot of love in that room.
Yeah.
I had people, I know a lot less of your family, obviously, than you do. It's a very large family, extended family. And it was cool. Like, I talked to, I don't want to say I talked to everybody, because I did not, but
Right.
everybody I talked to that I didn't know, it just like the conversation just started and you just had a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was waiting for a glass of wine at the bar next to somebody, or it was dancing or walking off the dance floor or whatever. By the way, dancing while you're holding a 6-year-old because he doesn't want to be put down while you're wearing a full suit. I should have at least taken the jacket off or something. But at that point, I just grabbed him because he wanted to go out, and
Yeah,
I was pouring sweat, but worth it. Yeah.
definitely.
So it was definitely a great time. And it's just, yeah, it's important to do that stuff. If you have the opportunity to be around family, I would say go for it, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not much quite as healing as that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Let's talk about hospitality a bit. And then I want to talk about, at the end, for people listening, or we can flip them, whatever you want, is I want to talk about the importance of, what I see as really not important, of working with industry specific people. I think that's a big topic. And let's just start with that, actually. Why don't we just roll into it? Are you there? I don't know what you just pressed, but I have no volume on you. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I hit that because I had a sip seltzer.
Oh, perfect. Where was I going? Oh, the industry specific people. So I saw a post.
This is wild.
I saw a post of a woman that basically was starting a salon. She had somebody to run it. The person bailed on her last minute. She doesn't do hair. She's not a licensed cosmetologist. And the comments to me were wild.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was attacking her, but I've seen this thought process before in the past. And I thought to myself, like, this is insane. So people were saying, Like, I don't understand why somebody that doesn't do hair would open a hair salon. Other people were saying this is such a super niche industry you're getting yourself into. I don't know why you would make this choice, blah, blah, blah. I've seen in the past people that said I would never work for a salon that the owner wasn't there doing hair. And these are the thoughts and ideas that keep holding this industry back. So, first of all, owning a business, operating a business, and doing hair are two different skill sets completely.
Right.
Second, I want to point this out. When you go into a restaurant, do you check to see if the owner's back there cooking?
I was just thinking the exact same analogy. That's not a
No,
thing. Maybe
no.
in some
I've worked
scenarios.
for restaurants that were absolutely amazing restaurants and put out amazing food. And guess what the owner did? Hired a head chef. That's
Right.
what you do. You put people in place so that you're successful. That's a business. When you go to the doctor for something, is the group that owns the hospital, is that board there? Are you checking? Are they out back? How about when you fly somewhere? Is the owner one of the chairman of the board of Delta? Are they flying the plane? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. It makes no sense. Business is business. There's no evidence anywhere that I've ever seen that a hair specific accountant is better than just a good accountant.
Right.
Like, you need an accountant, not somebody that understands tubes of color. No, that's irrelevant at that
Relevant.
point.
Yeah.
Is your lawyer and only a hair lawyer? That's weird. What if something comes up with your lease? What if something, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why are
But
people
we see
trying to
it so
do?
often, these posts where they're like, you need to find the hair related people to do these things. And no, you need to find the people that are good at the things you need done. And that's what you're looking for. A hair salon does not need to be owned by a stylist. And honestly, it's probably why a lot of salons aren't run well, because the stylist does good hair probably, but they don't know a dang thing about business or being a leader or running staff and doing all the other things. And I think that's why there's a lack in well-run salons. You have someone that's really good at running business, they should be able to hire the team to run the salon, and you probably have a kind of a match made in heaven where you have the salon that actually operates as a business and finds the right people to put in place to lead a team. And that's how a good salon runs.
Yeah, exactly. And so we may face like unique challenges, but that doesn't make the industry unique, if that makes
Right.
sense to people listening. Like, business is business. And that's, I think, a big part of the problem. Everybody wants so passionately to be special or to be like super niche or to be what others can't be, that they
Right.
try to make it seem like doing hair is this like wildly special thing. Now, I'm not taking away from what is special, because you are helping people, you are making people feel good, you are having conversations and
And those
making
are all great
connections.
things.
They're all great things, but
Mhm.
when you break it down, it's hair. Almost everyone on the planet has it. So it's not like that unique of a
Mhm.
concept. It's hair. A lot of people, many people deal with them themselves. That's how easy it can be.
Mhm.
For years, I used clippers and cut my own hair
Mhm.
for years. You know what I
This goes
mean?
back
Like,
to the part that makes you unique is when we get to it is the hospitality part. That's what sets you apart.
yeah,
The
some
hair
some
is just
people,
expected.
yeah. So some people do it themselves. That's how common it is. It's not
Yeah.
surgery or anything. You can't do brain surgery on yourself, but you can cut your own hair though. Like, that's so. If you think about it that way, and again, I'm not knocking the industry. I'm in the industry, and I love being in the industry currently. I'm sure somebody will piss me off, and I'll leave at some point.
Mhm.
But yeah, some people do it themselves. Others seek a professional, like people listening. And even still, a lot of those people get lackluster experiences, which we'll dive
Mhm.
into.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the only working with people in the industry, that to me is detrimental, because you want people to see things through a different lens. You
Mhm.
already see it through the hair lens. So why do you need another person? I'll give you the answer, because you're looking for someone to co-sign what you want. You're looking to create an echo chamber. That's
Mhm.
what most people are doing. Nobody will ever understand. I had somebody one time that said, "What other industries do you put your hands on people?" And I was like, I could list like 12 right
Mhm.
now. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? Putting your hands on a person is not that special of a, that alone doesn't make you unique at
No,
all.
I think if anything, you take that and again, we go back, I'll say it again, the hospitality part, you are able to touch people and really connect with people. So what else are you doing to make what you do even better and more and just be different than what everyone else is doing? Take that next level. Don't take it for granted. Like, people sit in your chair. What are you doing to make them feel like you're the shit?
Yeah, and if you're not sure, like find some inspiration, like look at somebody's it's not necessarily what people are doing, it's why people are doing it. And that's why I get so excited about hospitality, and that's why I talk about the restaurant industry a lot, is because it's it's the why people are doing what they're doing. And I know that some people are out like serving tables or whatever because they just wanted to pick up a second job. But I'm talking about passionate people that are like really great and make a career out of it.
Hmm.
And so finding why a person builds something, or why somebody learns, or why somebody creates, or why somebody explores or discovers, or some people write and some people draw, like finding out why they do that, you can learn a whole lot about them, which is generally what we do in our interview process. I'll have people tell
Hmm.
me about them. I don't want it to, do not, I'll tell them too, do not talk to me about hair. I don't care. You're not here for hair yet. You're here to see if we can even get along,
Right.
or if I want to be around you. And I'm not, again, it's not to be a jerk, but you could have somebody walk through your doors who's an absolutely amazing person, like some stud hairdresser out there, and you don't get along. So you're
Right.
going to hire that person? No, doesn't make sense. And think about it yourself too. So you do some hair, but why? What is it that you get back? What space does providing that service to people fill for you?
Hmm.
Like, what does it give your soul? You know, not to be like weird or whatever, but you know, how does it feed you? How does it fill your bucket? That's something that you say a lot.
Yeah. I love doing hair, but I love connecting with people. It's just like, I don't know, it's my
I don't
jam. I don't feel
know.
like I
I
have a
know
job. It's just fun for me.
I know you love doing hair, but to my point, I think connecting, like you, when I met you, you were waiting tables. You were in school, and you were good at that because I think you like talking, you like having
Oh, yeah.
conversation,
Yeah, it's
you
the
like
connection with people. I don't wanna just do hair.
you like
That would be
making people
boring for me.
happy.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just think people have to find their identity. That's really what it is. And stop following social media. Like here we are on a podcast giving advice, telling people to stop following advice. But honestly, figure out your own shit, figure out your own
Yeah.
self, your own why, and stop like listening to all these like fake gurus out there who are telling you that this is the way it has to be done. Like it can be done in infinitely amount of different ways. I
Yeah.
love learning about other people's businesses and how they do things different. I love going into a restaurant and seeing something that I haven't seen before, or a way a service is provided have like I haven't seen before, and figuring out what can we take from that? What can we
Yeah.
learn? Not
Yeah.
why did they do it that way? It
Right.
shouldn't be like that.
I feel like a lot of stuff has been inspired by, excuse me, restaurants for us, and just even cool places. Like, you just are like, "Oh, what can I take out of that? What can I take that back to the salon, or how can we elevate this so it's like similar to that?" It's not always just being in the salon environment. A lot of times it's getting outside of it. Now, don't knock going into another salon and getting a service and having that help you too, because that can help. But I think, like, to what you're saying, don't be so narrow-minded that everything you're trying to do to be inspired and create your business has to be just like every other business, or you're trying to like only do what other salons do. Get outside of that world and take a little bit from all different types of industries.
Yeah, over the last few years, and I think it may have quieted down a little, or maybe I just don't follow the same people I followed. But I think the big movement was to make everything about ourselves in the hair world.
Mm.
It was, I'm an educator, I'm an artist, I'm this, I'm that. And while I think it's good to know who you are, I think when you get into talking about business and things like that, what you put out there, your branding, your marketing, whatever you want to call it, I really don't care right now, to be honest with you. What you put out there that's your first impression to the world.
Mhm.
So if you're somebody that makes it about themselves, why would I want to go to you when I need something from me?
Right.
A lot of people want to make it about themselves and only talk about themselves. I've had that issue with staff in the past, staff that are no longer with us, but who just won't shut up about themselves, who describe their entire lives, all their problems, everything to every client. And I'm like, this is not what we want at Hello. This
Mhm.
just doesn't work.
It's too much.
Nobody is here to listen to you complain about your life, basically. These people are here to feel good about themselves, and they came to what they believed was a professional. And I think there's so much value in being of service to people. And I think that that often gets overlooked, especially in this industry. So let's talk about, I guess, hospitality. We had some
Yeah.
experiences over the weekend. I'm going to talk about one real quick that was even further back because it just popped in my head. But we walked into a new place. It was a brewery. And we were like, we're going to try this place. And we walked in, and I think you were in the middle of a sentence, and I was listening to you. So I paused at the front door. We didn't walk all the way in. And I listened to what you were saying. I don't remember now. And then I responded to you quickly. And then I looked back up at the bartender who was kind of had a, what's going on here? All right. Technical little glitch there. I looked up at the bartender who was rolling her eyes because we didn't react to her immediately, I guess. And then there was a second time it happened when you were indecisive maybe with what you wanted to drink. I happened to be looking up and she rolled her eyes again. And I was like, this is just not a friendly person.
Mm-hmm.
This is somebody that thinks that we're here for her. When in fact, we are not here for you at all. We are here for
I don't remember
us.
what restaurant this was.
I'll tell you off the air. I'm never going to trash
Okay.
somebody. And it's a local spot to us. So I don't want to be rude, but
Yeah, gotcha.
either way. So yeah, that's something that happened. And I just was like, this isn't very welcoming. And when you go in and sit at a bar, you should be welcome. I bartended for a while too,
Mhm.
back in the day. And it was so much fun to be of service to people. And some people are coming in because they're going to a sporting. I bartended right near Fenway Park in Boston on Boylston Street for people that don't know. And some people were going to a Red Sox game or heading over to the Garden to watch the Celtics or the Bruins. Or some people were going off to a wedding. Some people were getting over a bad day. Some people were getting over a breakup. Some people lost their job. And so it's your job to make it about them and
Mhm.
give them the service that they need in that moment. That's how I look at hospitality. It's always different. And if you're not good at it, you're never going to maximize your potential. If you're somebody that's like, I struggle with retention, look at how you're treating people. Look at your client
Right.
experience. What are
Look
you
at your
doing?
consistency with that too.
Right. And look at how you're treating people on, like
Mhm.
I just had mentioned individually. Like some people are going to come in, they just had a rough day. Some people are mourning a loss. I think someone's in our driveway. Some people are getting over a breakup, or some people are excited because they have a new boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, you know what I mean? So you've got to treat people as individuals. And when you're looking at it like, I'm an artist, they're here for me, they're here for my art. That's kind of bullshit. They're really not. Sorry. Is there art in what you do? Yeah, of course. There's art in everything. I've seen like plumbers who I watch work and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. You know, because they take pride in their work. They work clean. They make things look nice. Electricians, I've had an opportunity to work with electricians for a short amount of time, and I was always impressed by the ones who would have everything just like meticulous. But it's them taking pride in what they do.
Mhm.
And it's them making it about the end user. They're not going, I'm running power from here to here, period. That's not a good electrician, I would argue.
Mhm.
But anyways, do you want to dive into some of the stuff that I'll let you rant for a while?
You're doing great.
All right. Oh, so you really don't want to talk?
No, I don't know where you're going. So which one do you want to talk about?
Any. So hospitality, we had some restaurants that we went to. We can talk about those, and we had a hotel that we went to. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
The
I
the
wouldn't say
first
anything was 5-star.
Yeah, so the first restaurant we went to on the way down
Okay, that one was
to the
amazing.
wedding was pretty solid.
Yeah, that was great.
Service was not 5 stars. I would say
It was
maybe like a
meh.
3.5,
Yeah.
out of 5. So, but there was service. So that was a bonus.
Yes.
And they did a good job. I always watch the wait staff or the bartender or wherever we're sitting. If there's an open kitchen, I watch the cooks. It's just my thing. I like to do it. I like to observe. And they had bussers who were constantly cleaning the tables. I didn't see anything on the floor, which is a pet peeve of mine that comes from the service industry or the hospitality, food and beverage industry specific. But that restaurant, I would say, was pretty solid. I would definitely go again if we were in that area. Food was good. Drinks were fine. Whatever. The second restaurant where we had lunch on the day of the wedding because we had some time in between. So I forget the name of it. It doesn't
The
matter
Irish
either
pub.
way. But yeah, it was it an Irish pub? Didn't feel
I
like
don't
an
know. They're
Irish pub
playing
at
Irish
all.
music. Maybe they weren't St. Patrick's Day weekend. I don't know.
They were doing like Creed covers.
Oh, I just assumed they had music
Yeah,
system.
I think you just assumed that this was an Irish pub. I wouldn't classify that as an Irish pub. I had pizza. Either way. So I would say that one was less service wise. So we got in and we were
Oh, yeah.
seated right away. They took the kids' orders because the kids are hungry. So we try to order for them straight away. And that food came out pretty much immediately. So
Yeah.
that was great. So they understood that these people have kids. Kids need to be taken care of. They did that. Where they dropped the ball was the fact that they never really came back.
Ever.
So we each had a drink. I had a beer and some like a little mini buffalo chicken pizza, right? And the food was meh. It
Yeah.
was
We were
passable, I
hungry.
guess.
Fit the
It was probably, I would say, I don't know, like a out of 5, maybe a 2.75,
okay.
something like that. It was like a little more than halfway. So not terrible, edible. I had a beer, so I don't know I don't know what you had, but
I had a Negroni. It was delicious.
it was good. Okay, so the drinks were good. They never came back really to check. I don't feel I was ever asked if I wanted another beverage. Were
No.
you? Yeah.
No. And then we just needed, so again, we have this wedding. So we're in a little bit of a time crunch too. And even our oldest son was like, can we just pay and go so we can get back to the hotel to get like ready to grab this shuttle? And even that took forever. Like,
Yeah, so they never came
and
back
it
and they
wasn't
never
that busy in the
really.
restaurant.
No, we weren't sitting at the bar, and I feel like oftentimes at restaurants like that have a bar. If you're not sitting at the bar and the bartender is waiting on you, you're just waiting forever
Yeah.
because you're sort of secondary. And I get it, but that's not my problem. Again, you're not my concern. I'm my
Right.
concern as a client, as a customer, as whatever, a guest, whatever you want to call it. No one cares. Then we had an experience in the hotel. So we can talk about that too. So we
That
were
was the
trying to eat
worst.
dinner and it was probably the worst experience. I actually
It was bad.
was shocked at how bad this experience was. I would say this experience was, it had to have been one of the worst. I
This is
have
where
gotten
I'll,
up and left before. We went to a bar one time, Jen, in Derry, I think. And we sat down to have some lunch at the bar and no one came over for like 10 minutes and we got up and left. No one even stopped us. No one even talked to us or acknowledged our presence. That was worse than this, but this one could be right up there with that.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about it or?
Well, I was going to say, this is where like the point of hospitality, and we keep talking about it, but to drive it home is when you have a client or a guest in your chair, or when you're at a restaurant, like your level of anxiety and stress should come down, right? Once they like take your drink order, you get your drinks. Every little step should help you kind of settle into a great experience where you trust the process of whatever business you're in and you can enjoy the company that you're sitting with. And that's why we talk about it, because from a salon experience, same thing. When someone first comes in the salon, they're stressed out. They have anxiety about just all of the things that happen in the salon anyway. And every little thing you do should be taking their anxiety or their stress level down a notch, so that eventually, once they're getting their hair done, they can just enjoy the peace and quiet or whatever they want out of that appointment and start to relax, like, oh, someone's going to just do my hair and I'm just going to feel beautiful. And this is a great day. And I'm going to just, whatever, do my thing. So this restaurant experience was nothing but stress all around. The We couldn't even find someone to wait on us. It took 40 minutes to get our drinks, and I think we had to check on them at least twice. We're with 3 small children, and we're like trying to get them food that took over an hour. I feel it was not a fine dining restaurant by any means. We were sitting at a couch and chairs on like a coffee table, so you should expect that everything's kind of a little faster. Like we're not even at a table. They sat a party after us and took better care of them. And every time we're trying to find, like, where's our food? Where's this? The kids are getting antsy. They're hungry. It was it was a failure. And if you're in a hotel restaurant, and you should at least you understand like what your level of service should be. There was none. It was awful. And because this is the part that really put me over the edge at the end. We were a big party. There's like 7 or 8 of us. So a big party gets gratuity included. So at the end of the meal, I'm like, this was basically like, I don't even have to wait on them because I know I'm getting my 20% and I can give them shit service, which they did. And it was so frustrating that like I left there and I was like, I need a minute to go sit down because I'm so irritated about this whole meal. I never got to enjoy the company of my mom there, my sister, my kids, Todd. Like I didn't get to enjoy any of it because I was so worried about, are they actually going to like do the things they're supposed to do? And that's just bad hospitality, bad customer service all around. And take that and think of that when you're working on clients in a salon, because the same thing, what you're doing every time should make them feel more excited about what they're getting done, not more stressful and like, is this even going to come out okay? Are they going to run on time? Like those are the things that people are worried about when they're getting their hair, just like there's things that when you get into a restaurant. That experience was absolute hell for me.
Yeah, the fact that at one point a guy came over and said, "Has someone taken your order
Oh,
yet?" And we said, "No." So she's going to have and then he said, "Oh, I'm not here to take the order." And he
yeah.
walked away. And I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" Excuse my language.
It's so
Because I
bad.
generally like, so I use coarse language, but not generally directed like angrily, right?
It was awful.
I just use
And
this like
literally we're just
accent
looking at each
parts.
other like, what is actually happening here?
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? Are we supposed to get up? Are we supposed to leave? We're in a hotel with kids. There's nothing really within. I mean, we could have left, but everything's like 15 minutes away. There's no other restaurant in this hotel. So it's like, I don't really know what to do. So do we ride this out? Which we did.
Yeah, we had
And
no
again,
other choice. We were like, we just won't eat here again the rest
so
of the weekend.
the service was a 0. The
Mm.
food, honestly, was maybe a 2. I'm
Yeah, we
being
ended up
fair.
having to DoorDash McDonald's for the kids later.
I had some McDonald's after too. I just was
Because
not
it was like,
satisfied with my food, so I didn't eat it all.
yeah. So I'm like, and on top of that, now we're door dashing McDonald's. So anyway,
So yeah, that experience overall, I would say, was probably a 1,
sure, negative.
maybe a 0.75, something like that out of 5.
Oh,
So
sad.
yeah, it was awful. And my thing was, you always try to take care of people. So it's whether they comped a cocktail or they took the kids' food off or they even sent someone over to apologize, which never happened.
Nope.
I think it was like a 3-hour process, right?
Yeah.
Start to finish. It was like a 3-hour process. And no one had a good time. Everybody was miserable. And
My mom had to
again,
go
we
get
made
coloring stuff for the kids so that like try to
yeah.
keep them entertained.
And I'm not one to complain. I just won't go back. And
Right.
so I'm never going back to that hotel
But we
on
didn't eat
Long
again
Island
there the whole
either
time because
way. But right,
which became an inconvenience because now we got to figure out how to like where do we got to go to get food.
right. Anyways, we can wrap up. I just wanted to touch on hospitality today, and I
Yeah, just
guess
think of it from all different angles. Like it's your
I guess
job
when
to service clients well.
I guess when we started, we were talking about only working with people that were like specific in the industry. And again, I would highly suggest that you get out there, strongly suggest, whatever. That you get out there in any business and look around because all businesses are the same. Money comes in, money goes out, some money gets to the bottom line. That's ultimately how business works. Now you have different challenges, but whether you're ordering color or you're ordering food to serve to your clients or use on your clients is irrelevant. You still are ordering from order sheets or using some sort of PARs or whatever. You need a system for it. Your accounting for a restaurant and accounting for a salon are the same. You have an accountant. Money comes in, money goes out. Some of those monies get to the bottom line. Like it is what it is. If you had a I don't know, a cleaning business. It's the same thing. You've got to serve clients. You have overhead for your equipment. You are buying shampoo for carpets or whatever. You know what I mean? It's you're buying a product. Those are your fixed costs or your operating costs. You have your fixed costs, which is maybe if you're a cleaning business, you have vans or something. So you've got to account for that. You've got to account for the gas. And guess what? An accountant can do that. You don't need a cleaning van business specific accountant. That stuff doesn't exist in every industry. So ask yourself why. Ask yourself next time you go into Walmart if one of the owners is there. Or don't buy anything because you don't trust businesses that the owner's not there. If the owner doesn't cash me out the next time I'm at Target, if the owner of Target, I don't even know who owns Target,
I don't
but if the
either.
owner of Target isn't there in my location to cash me out, then I don't trust that business. That's what you're saying when you guys say that.
Yeah.
When you say I don't trust a hair salon that the owner's not working behind the chair, that's what you're saying. You're saying you don't trust any business that the owner's not doing the main task.
Also
And
goes
that just
back to somehow you think that because someone can do hair, they can run a business. Those are not anything
doesn't
alike. Yeah.
wrong. Look at how many
I'd
people
almost
are.
say you should wanna be in a salon that the owner doesn't do hair. Now, I do hair, and I mean, Todd and I have teamed up so that we can offer a lot of different leadership qualities because of what the 2 of us can bring to the table with the salon. But if you're looking for a salon that has a hairstylist in it that's owning and operating, not always is that going to be ideal because how do you do both of those things, like, 100% all the time? You can't. Even when I'm in there, I can't. I'm doing hair and trying to do stuff. Something's getting less of my time or less quality of a service, whether it's me leading the team or running the business, because I can't own and operate things the exact same. So I would challenge that more salons, if they popped up without a salon owner running it, would most likely be run a lot better.
You mean without a hairstylist running it, not
Yeah.
without
What
a
did I
salon
say?
owner? You said a salon that popped up without a salon owner running it.
No, sorry. Yeah. My
Yeah.
hairstylist running it. Thanks for correcting me there.
Yeah, it's like any business at all. If you wanted to start a bakery, it doesn't mean you have to be the one that's baking the bread.
Right.
You're just the one when you own a business, you're the one that assumes the risk and puts the plan in place and
Hmm.
drives the vision. Those are like just roles of if you want to look at a classic business structure, like a CEO, it's someone that comes in and they drive the company forward. You don't have to do the actual things to make that happen.
No, you have to be able to put the people in place
I
that
could
can
give you
do the
so I
best
could just
job.
keep going and going with
Yeah.
examples because it doesn't make sense. And I know everyone in the hair industry wants to be special, and we all want to be special. I'm not saying that you're not special, but what makes you actually special might not be what you think.
Correct. And I think it's just looking at it differently. Maybe you are running a salon and you don't enjoy running it. You just want to do the hair. Well, you could put someone in place to manage the salon and you could go back to just doing hair still in your own salon. There are lots of different ways to do that so you can be more of one or the other. It just depends on what I think is fun for you and what really kind of what you said in the beginning are you most passionate about. If you find that it's difficult to do one thing, there's ways to still do it, just finding the right team to help support you. You might need a better support team.
For sure. Okay. Anything in closing?
No,
Are we done? All right.
done.
Cool. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Jump on our email list if you're not, and if you would like to chat with us live, in person, on the phone, whatever, let us know.
Okay.
We'll talk to you next time. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.